Ingrid Lyons. I am the Executive Director of the Campaign to Save the Boundary Waters and Northeastern Minnesotans for Wilderness, which leads the campaign to save the boundary waters. Today is an incredible day for the boundary waters and for everyone who has sought to protect it and anyone who's ever loved it. Secretary Deb Haaland has signed a public lands order protecting the boundary waters and its watershed from sulfide ore copper mining for 20 years. We are absolutely thrilled and today to react to and share a little bit about their thoughts on this historic news. We're joined by Becky Rahm. Becky is the National Campaign Chair for the Campaign to Save the Boundary Waters. We're also joined by Jack Lee, the Executive Director of Voyager Outward Bound School. We're joined by Lucas Leaf, the Executive Director of Sportsmen for the Boundary Waters. Jason Zaborski, the owner-operator of Ely Outfitting Company and member of the over 375-member Boundary Waters Business Coalition. And finally, Joseph Goldstein, founder and leader of Kids for the Boundary Waters. What we're going to do today is have folks speak in that order, and then we'll be doing a Q&A session at the end. Feel free to put your questions in the chat as we go, but we will have a dedicated time towards the end. And please do make sure that you remain muted if you are not speaking. And so with that, I will hand it over to Becky Rahm.
Hello, everybody. It's great to see you today. As Ingrid said, today, Interior Secretary Deb Haaland signed a public land order withdrawing 225,504 acres of federal lands and minerals from the federal mining program for 20 years. This is the most important land conservation measure affecting Minnesota in the last 45 years. And I say 45 years for this reason. In 1964, Congress passed the Wilderness Act, establishing the boundary waters as a national wilderness area. That act allowed mining in national wilderness areas for 20 years until 1984. But Congress realized that mining posed a unique threat to the boundary waters. And it went back in 1978 and passed a new law banning mining in the boundary waters itself and on 3 entry corridors. Today, Secretary Haaland completed the protection of the boundary waters by adding to the mining ban area federal lands and minerals in the headwaters of the boundary waters, where all waters flow downstream into the boundary waters. This is a unique public land order, a unique withdrawal, because it actually protects 4 places. It protects the Boundary Waters Canoe Area Wilderness, Canada's Quetico Park, which is managed as a wilderness park, Minnesota's Voyageurs National Park, and finally, ceded territory under the 1854 treaty with the Chippewa people. This action will ensure that the Boundary Waters is now protected fully for the next 25 years. And this is in response to a concerted effort by the American people to protect the boundary waters from sulfide ore copper mining. Since 2017, approximately 675,000 Americans have weighed in comments to the federal government saying this is the wrong place for sulfide ore copper mining. So thank you, Secretary Haaland, for your wise decision that protects Minnesota's crown jewel for the next 20 years. Ingrid?
Thanks very much, Becky. Now we will hear from Jack Lee, Executive Director of Voyager Outward Bound School.
Great. Thank you, Ingrid. There we go. Nice. This is a great day. Thank you to the Biden administration, to all the people who have worked for this withdrawal. As Ingrid said, my name is Jack Lee. I'm the Executive Director of Voyager Outward Bound School. We are a nonprofit. We're part of the National Outward Bound Network of Schools, and our mission is to use wilderness expeditions to show people that they can do far more than they think and that they can work together. We've been operating in the boundary waters for more than 55 years, and we've served more than 30,000 students, bringing people from all 50 states and all over the world to this area. And I can tell you the boundary waters is unique and delicate. Pollution from mining in this area would threaten our ability to serve our mission there. At Voyager Outward Bound, we are a school, and the Boundary Waters is our classroom. It's where a group of Outward Bound students can spend a week or more together, surrounded by peaceful and unpredictable nature. They won't have their cell phones. They won't see many people. They won't see any cars, trucks, planes, or motorboats. And that group of students will come together quickly and will learn to overcome challenges together. That's a very unique setting in true nature. One of our students, a veteran, wrote about his time in the Boundary Waters, quote, "In this outdoor setting, which really serves to allow one to detach from daily distractions, our group was challenged daily to reflect on our experiences, and I am very appreciative of this opportunity to reflect on my overseas military experience and to find positive and constructive tools moving forward," unquote. At Voyager Outward Bound, we are very grateful for the work of Save the Boundary Waters, all the work that they've done, and in particular, we're appreciative to the Biden administration for this decision. We are so pleased to be able to continue serving students in the Boundary Waters for many decades to come. Thank you. Back to you, Ingrid.
Thank you very much, Jack. Next, we're going to hear from Lucas Leaf. Lucas is the Executive Director of Sportsmen for the Boundary Waters.
Well, thank you, Ingrid. I appreciate it. And I mean, wow, what a big day. Something we've been working towards for so long, you know. Across the country, the significance of this historic decision by Secretary Haaland to implement 20-year protections for the Boundary Waters is going to be celebrated in the coming days. I know I'm going to see a lot of our fellow conservation folks at an event on Icy Lake Mille Lacs this weekend, so we'll be celebrating ourselves. But you know, Sportsmen for the Boundary Waters would like to express our deepest gratitude to this administration for its leadership in protecting the Boundary Waters from sulfide ore copper mining. Not only is this announcement a milestone in the history of the BWCA, but it also affirms the immeasurable value of the Boundary Waters to Minnesota's outdoor economy, its unparalleled recreational opportunities, and its contribution to the legacy of our nation's public lands and waters. It truly is an honor and a privilege to be a part of such a monumental week in conservation, as we see protections announced across the country for our cherished wild places like the Boundary Waters and Tongass National Forest. Since our founding in 2015, Sportsmen for the Boundary Waters has advocated for BWC protection with national and local conservation partners, businesses, thousands of hunters and anglers across the country, appealing to federal agencies for the decision to finalize this mineral withdrawal to protect the Boundary Waters from proposed copper nickel mining in its watershed. This announcement from the Department of Interior has cemented what we've known all along, and that is the headwaters of the Rainy River watershed is no place for copper nickel mining. It also ensures future generations of hunters, anglers, and wilderness paddlers will fish for lake trout, chase grouse, and share a campfire under the stars in America's most visited wilderness for generations to come. The Boundary Waters provides world-class opportunities for people of all ages and abilities to hunt, fish, and camp in a truly backcountry wilderness landscape. This decision guarantees that the Boundary Waters is a place where Minnesota's hunting and fishing heritage will be protected for future generations. We at Sportsmen for the Boundary Waters would like to thank every hunter, angler, paddler, camper, and BWCA advocate who gave to preserving the integrity of this wild and truly special place. The ongoing work to conserve the Boundary Waters watershed would not be possible without our partner organizations and enthusiastic supporters. And Sportsmen for the Boundary Waters is very grateful for the ongoing support from that community. So this conservation win is really for everybody on this call too, who fought for years to reach this point and gave their all to preserve the integrity of this wild and truly special place. I know for me, and I would assume for everybody else, it's going to take a few days for the gravity of what we've accomplished today to kind of sink in. And I hope we can all breathe a bit easier knowing that we have a huge stepping stone to work from towards permanent protection for the Boundary Waters. But for now, I would say it's time to celebrate the win. Thank you.
Thank you, Lucas. Absolutely second everything you said. That's wonderful. Next up, our final speaker. Oh no, sorry, we have two more speakers. I apologize. Next up is Jason Zaborski. He's the owner operator of Ely Outfitting Company and a member of the Boundary Waters Business Coalition.
Thanks, Ingrid. My name is Jason Zaborski. I own and manage Ely Outfitting Company in downtown Ely on the edge of the Boundary Waters. Our clients arrive from all 50 states to be outfitted with the best trip planning information, lightweight canoes, camping equipment, trail menu, and sometimes guides to explore the Boundary Waters canoe area wilderness. This withdrawal protects the Boundary Waters from risky sulfide ore copper mining, safeguards an irreplaceable treasure, honors our country's outdoor heritage, and supports our sustainable economy. I am thrilled today to see our nation commit to protecting America's greatest lakeland wilderness. The Boundary Waters has incredibly significant meaning to those who hold dear and cherished memories of experiences on and in its clean waters. Groups of friends and families find things in the Boundary Waters that are becoming more and more rare every single day. Pure silence, uninterrupted time with those you care about, opportunities for personal growth in untrammeled outdoor spaces, and so much more. The Boundary Waters also embodies our nation's outdoor heritage. It harkens back to a simpler time. Wilderness adventurers travel with only a silent canoe and the equipment and food they carry on their backs. Self-reliance, teamwork, determination, and grit are some of the values learned in such a special setting. And beyond these sorts of important experiences and ethics, it's also important to recognize how important the Boundary Waters is for our local and regional economy. This withdrawal recognizes what I see directly and personally, and that is the Boundary Waters is an economic engine. It's a driver to our entire wilderness edge economy, and it's an economy that relies on clean water and a healthy landscape. It's clear that protecting the Boundary Waters means more jobs and more income. For too long, the specter of risky sulfide ore copper mining has hung like a dark cloud, threatening the most cherished areas in the state, as well as threatening our jobs that depend on the clean water and healthy forests of the Boundary Waters. This withdrawal finally provides some permanent protection of the Boundary Waters and will unleash the full potential of northeastern Minnesota. In northeastern Minnesota, tourism generates over $900 million in revenue and supports 17,000 jobs every year. The Boundary Waters is at the core of that tourism economy, and it also attracts new residents who raise families, start businesses, and bring their portable jobs to town and work remotely. These are all things we've seen accelerate exponentially recently, and these folks are spending their time and money building a strong community and moving forward. Sulfide ore copper mining risks turning back this progress. It'd be a huge drain on the sustainable economy we have going. This withdrawal safeguards the economic future of northeastern Minnesota, as well as our important outdoor heritage. Thanks. Ingrid?
Thank you so much, Jason. Happy permit opener to everyone also, a day late.
Very big week.
Yeah. No, there's not a ton going on. Our final speaker today, before we go to Q&A, is Joseph Goldstein, who is the founder and leader of Kids for the Boundary Waters.
Thanks, Ingrid. There truly is no quantifying what today's decision to protect the Boundary Waters means for all of us who already love the wilderness and for future generations. This pristine, largely untouched wilderness was set aside nearly 100 years ago, preserved because it is uniquely special. It remains one of the few places on Earth that is accessible to all of us who wish to experience silence and untrammeled spaces. There are no roads, there are no motors allowed. It is as it has been for thousands of years, largely untouched and unspoiled. The Boundary Waters is much more than a set of interconnected lakes and rivers. It represents an immense, complex, pristine ecosystem that has been protected and preserved in a manner that ensures both recreational, emotional, and spiritual enjoyment in harmony with the native plant, water, and wildlife. And while wilderness can change who we are for the better, it cannot protect itself. It relies on us to understand its importance in our lives and to guard it for the future. Today, Secretary Holland has taken a critical step to protect this pristine wilderness, and we all owe her a debt of gratitude. I was 6 years old when I took my first trip to the Boundary Waters, and awakened in me a love and a passion for adventure and wilderness that rapidly grew. When I was 13, I was diagnosed with leukemia and approached by the Make-A-Wish Foundation. At this time, protecting the Boundary Waters from the clear and present danger posed by mining stood out as the only thing in the world that I truly wanted. And today I'm preparing to graduate college and have been in the fight to defend the Boundary Waters for 9 years now. We've had some hard and scary losses along the way, but most importantly, we've stayed in the fight. We've gotten back up when knocked down. We've discovered allies who are also willing to plant their feet in their values and speak up effectively and respectively over and over and over again on behalf of their passion. And we've patiently, repeatedly, and without compromising our values, spoken loudly for this quiet place. There's nothing like time in the Boundary Waters to instill important values, the ability to disconnect, the beauty of silence, our need for time in nature, and the critical importance of resilience and perseverance. You learn quickly that discomfort is temporary and that you're capable of more than you imagine. Those lessons are in service to all of us, and I'm grateful the Boundary Waters will remain a place in which future generations may continue to seek that wisdom. There are more people to thank than I could possibly account for in the allotted time today. First and foremost, I want to express my deepest gratitude to Secretary Holland. Since taking office, she has taken our concerns to heart, listened to the facts and science of this issue, and to the experience of those of us who have a deep love for this sacred place. Her wisdom, her strength, and her genuine kindness place her in a category of exceptional people that I strive to emulate. I would also like to thank everybody at the Save the Boundary Waters campaign who supported and taught me so much over the last decade. Particularly Alex and Sam, who have patiently and repeatedly shepherded myself and the members of Kids for the Boundary Waters through DC over the years. And on that note, also all of the kids who have worked with Kids for the Boundary Waters over the years and who have repeatedly showed up in defense of this place. I'd also like to thank my friend and mentor, Becky Rom, who has taught me the in and outs of DC over the years and occasionally provided me a couch to sleep on. And finally, to my dear friend Jason, who has guided, taught, and nurtured my love of the wilderness since my first trip to the Boundary Waters 15 years ago. Thank you.
Thank you, Joseph. That concludes our speaker lineup. Please, if you have a question, we'll be doing question and answer now. If you have a question, either unmute and go ahead and ask it, or you can put it in the chat, or I think you can raise your hand as well. So any questions? Not seeing any, unless I am mistaken. Sorry, my view is a little limited. So once again, please unmute if you do have a question you would like to ask any of the speakers today. All right. Seems it's a questionless event, which is totally fine. So thank you again to all of our speakers. Thank you again to Secretary Holland and to the Biden administration for taking this action. If you're just stay tuned in, we're going to be having another press event tomorrow at 11 a.m. That will do a little bit of a deeper dive into the public land order itself, as well as the final EA. So you should be receiving information about that. And otherwise, have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, everyone.